So today I'm going to show you how to make these really cute beaded keychains. I absolutely love these and they're so easy to make. I'm going to have all the products that you see in this video listed and linked down below in the description box. That's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. First things that we're going to want to do is lay out what bead colors we want, what kind of hardware, and all the little accessories and glitter and vinyl. You want to figure that out first, and I'll be honest, that is the hardest part for me when putting these together. Anyway, once we have all of our different designs laid out that we want to do, we're going to start assembling the beaded part first. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do that. The first way is to use one of these keychains that have these like little rotating hoop things on them. I don't know what you would call those, but they look just like that, okay? There's plenty of keychain hardware that comes with that. I will link some of my favorites in the description box. And we're going to loop a length of our elastic string through that hole on that keychain hardware, okay? This string I'll have linked in the description box. It's my favorite to use. I don't like using wire for these because wire doesn't have the flexion that we need. It just always snaps for me, so I don't like to use it. After we got looped through that hole on the keychain hardware, I put one of these small silver spacer beads on, and then one of these 20mm bubblegum beads. All these bubblegum beads are from Platinum Mousse Beads. It's mousebeads.com. I'll have them linked down below in the description box with a discount code. And again, we're just alternating a silver spacer bead and a bubblegum bead. And for these wristlets that I'm making, I only want to use about 8 beads. Okay, that's kind of the happy spot that I came to where I think they look best is just with 8 beads. Okay, so after I get all of my beads strung on there, I'll show you how I tie this off. Cute. Okay, so we have this length of string here. Notice it's doubled up, okay? We're going to go back through that same loop that we started in on that keychain hardware and go through the loop around and then take both ends of our string right down through that first bead there. See how it anchors it down like that? All right. And once I get it through that first bead, I'm going to pull as tight as I can. We want to get a lot of tension on there, okay? Keep checking your tension and make sure that it's really tight, just about as tight as we can go without, breaking this elastic. So you'll see that there shouldn't be really any kind of stretch to this. And then I'm going to take my 2 fingers and I'm going to wrap the string around my 2 fingers and then go around and through the center of that beaded ring there, and then up in through the loop that I made with my 2 fingers to anchor this down. If you guys have seen my beaded keychain tutorial, my older one, it's the same kind of knot there, just to kind of anchor that in place. Okay, and then once we have that knot done and we've got everything pulled nice and tight, we're going to go over and under on one side and then over and under on the opposite side. So here we go. See, we go over and under with the left on top first, and then over and under with the right on top second. Okay, and we're going to pull those tight each time. And then I'm going to snip off the excess string, leaving about a 1/4 inch of string there. And then we'll just pull it to, bring that excess string in through to hide in the center of the bead. And then there we go. So simple and easy. Look how cute that is. I love it. I'm going to show you a different way to do this if you don't have one of those keychain hardware setups, okay? If you don't want to use that same kind of keychain hardware, here's what you'll do. So I've got a length of that elastic thread there, and I've strung one of the silver spacer beads onto it, and I have it just sitting there in the middle. Then I'm going to double up my string. So now we're going with both ends. I'm going to string on my bubblegum beads, and I want to alternate the silver spacers with my bubblegum beads, just like I did before. Okay, if you don't want to use silver spacer beads between each one of your bubblegum beads, you definitely don't have to. I mean, you can string these however you want. This is just how I like to do it because I think it gives kind of a more polished look. All right, and so stringing them on in the same way that we did before. The only difference is that instead of our string being anchored around that piece of keychain hardware, we're using the silver spacer bead at the bottom there of our string to keep our beads on. Okay, and those silver spacer beads are just the perfect size to keep those on. They're not going to go through the whole of the bubblegum bead. And you can find those at Hobby Lobby. I will try to find similar ones on Amazon, but last time I checked, I couldn't find them on Amazon. I had to go into Hobby Lobby to get them. All right. So once we've got those all strung on, I'm just going to knot them off like I did before with the same one, only instead of us going around through that keychain hardware, we went back around through that same silver spacer bead. Okay, so once we have it looped through that spacer bead that we started with, we're going to go back down through the first bead, okay? So then we're just going to tie it off like we did before. So what we're going to do is pull it really tight, checking the tension to make sure we've got it as tight as we can. All right, and once you've got really good tension on that, I'm going to loop the string around my middle finger and my index finger, take the length of my string and go through the center of my beaded wristlet there, and then back up through the loop that I created with my index finger and my middle finger. And that's the knot we're going to use just to anchor this down in place. And then we'll do our over and under from the left side, and then our over and under from the right side, again, just as we had done before. After we tie that off, we'll snip off the excess with our scissors and then stretch out our little wristlet there to hide the excess string in the center of a bead. Okay. And so we should be left with something like this. Perfect little wristlet. Look how cute. Okay, and then I'm going to take a jump ring and I'm going to thread that jump ring through the same silver spacer bead that we used to anchor for our start and our finish. Okay, you should be able to fit a jump ring through there. It might be a little bit of a tight squeeze, but you're going to get it through there. Then we'll attach another jump ring. This is what we'll attach it to our keychain ring, just like that. And I think this makes for such a professional finish instead of just stringing the keychain ring around the bracelet, if that makes sense. So it has its own little hardware attaching it, and it looks so cute. Look at that. And it's nice and secure too. All right. So once we get done with that, we're going to move on to accessories. Now, definitely you could just have the beaded keychain just like that and not do anything else. But of course, I've got to be a little extra. So I'm going to make some acrylic blanks to add to mine. This is an acrylic blank that I got from Zindy.com. And you just want to first remove the paper backing from one side and prep the surface with a sanding block or any kind of sandpaper, or even if you just have a nail file, you just want to scuff up the surface of that acrylic so that we have a nice surface for our epoxy and glitter to adhere to. All right, so once we got that scuffed up, I'm just going to wipe it off with some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel. And then we'll go ahead and mix up our glitter with our UV resin. I am going to be using UV resin today. You guys know I normally don't like using these for my keychain tutorials, but I recently received the new UV resin from Counterculture, and I'll be darned if I didn't finally find a UV resin that actually cures hard. So I've tried about 3 different UV resins and none of them cure hard. No matter what I do, I could leave them outside, I could use a stronger UV light or whatever, and they just never cure right. So this UV resin, it just comes in a black tube like that. You don't have to mix it. You just pour a little into your medicine cup here. This is about 7.5 milliliters. And I'm just going to add the glitter right to it. Not too much glitter. You don't want to change the consistency of the resin by adding too much and making it too thick. You're just going to add enough to cover the surface of your resin in the cup there, and then mix it in really well. Once you get all your glitter mixed in, you're going to just spread this onto your acrylic blank, kind of like how you would frost a cookie, being careful not to spread it into the whole of the blank. You don't want to add too much, okay? You'll notice that if you don't spread it right over the hole, it's not going to naturally just pour into the hole, particularly if you don't use too much, okay? So just enough to coat the surface here and get nice smooth coverage. You want to make sure that you really take your time and get it edge to edge here. Sometimes this stuff likes to pull away from the edges. So just make sure that you really spread it, nice and consistently through the whole surface of your blank. Once we get done with that, we're going to place the UV light over that. And you want to take it through probably like 4 or 5 60-second cycles. So I kept it under the UV light for about 5 minutes. I'm sure if you had a stronger UV light, that process would be a lot quicker. Once we're done with that, we're going to remove the paper backing from the other side and prep it just like we did before with the sanding really quick and then wiping it clean with a paper towel and some rubbing alcohol. Obviously, I'm working on a different blank now. I had several of these going at one time, and so I just kind of filmed them at different stages, but whatever. The number one question I get asked when I work with acrylic blanks is how do you get the vinyl cut file to fit and sized? Every time you buy one of these, they come with the pre-sized file. You either download it from the vendor's website or it'll be emailed to you. Usually you have to log into your account on the vendor's website and download it. All right, so this is some vinyl that I cut. This is actually patterned vinyl from the Vinyl Cottage, and I just fussy cut a circle around it with my Cricut. And once I get it applied to the blank, I am going to just bore out the hole with my craft knife. You can use a bead reamer tool or whatever for this. I just like to use my craft knife. And we get a nice clean hole there. You could pre-cut this hole in, your cutting software, but I don't really care to do that because it's harder to match up. So I just do it this way. It's so much simpler. Okay, and then once we have that hole nicely taken care of, we are going to put another layer of epoxy resin over this. So again, using the UV resin, just enough to coat the surface. You don't want too much, but you also don't want too little. You'll find that you'll get a lot of ripples and things in your coat if you're not using enough. So make sure that you get just enough to put that on there and spread it out end to end. I'm just using a stainless steel stir stick thing to spread it here. I'll have these linked down below. These are my favorite tools for working with these resin keychains. Okay, and again, before we do the UV light, you do want to hit it with your torch really quick. Ideally, you would use like a butane torch, the smaller kitchen ones, but I only have a huge propane torch because I usually work with larger epoxy projects, but that'll work too. Just do it real quick to pop the bubbles. Okay, put your UV light over that for a few minutes, just like we did the first side, and we're good to go. All right, now I want to show you guys how I add the other little accessories. These are these really cute fur pom-poms that I found on Amazon a while ago. Hopefully I can find the link still because I did buy these, I think, over a year ago. But they have these little elastic loops on them. You just need to find that elastic loop, run a jump ring through it, and that's how I attach them to the keychains, okay? I have a lot of other keychain tutorials where we go really into depth on the acrylic resin blanks and these little pom-poms and things like that. So I will link all my older keychain videos down below. Highly recommend you guys watch those if you are having a hard time following along with how I'm working with these in this video, because my main focus for this video was the like beaded wristlet part, okay? When we're all done with our pom-pom accessories and our acrylic blanks, I'm just going to use a jump ring to attach my acrylic blank to the keychain hardware here. Easy peasy. You just spread those jump rings apart or I guess horizontally or diagonally, I don't know, and bring them back together. You don't want to pull them out. You just pull them side to side and then meet them back side to side when you want to close them. But that's it. I mean, this is really fun and easy. Again, you definitely don't have to add all these little extras. I just think they're so cute. I love the beaded stuff. So obviously I went a little crazy. I made a whole bunch of these, but I just think they're so cute and a great way to use up all those extra beads if you've got a bunch of them like I do, just kind of hanging out. Really fun and easy project. A lot of us have, like, you know, if you have a keyless start in your car, I like having these little wristlet things because you could just hang them on your blinker so you don't lose your keys in your car. So really fun tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you like this video, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. And a big thank you to all of our Flynn Sisters exclusive members. Thank you for your pledge. Your support means the world to our channel. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.